What do California employers need to know about mandatory vaccines in the workplace? As of the date of this recording, September of 2021, I'm getting a lot of questions from California employers about mandatory vaccine policies in the workplace and how this is going to play out. Now, earlier in September, President Biden announced on a federal level that OSHA will be rolling out regulations requiring employers with more than 100 workers to mandate the vaccine for the workers or test the workers on a weekly basis. Now, we haven't seen those OSHA regulations yet, so still a lot of open questions on that, and still a lot of questions on when those regulations will be coming out on a federal level. But what's this mean for California employers, and what steps should California employers be taking now to prepare for this potential mandate on a federal level? So here in California, the DFEH has made it clear that employers may voluntarily mandate vaccines for their employees. So it's a voluntary process here in California on the state level. On the county and city local levels, there are some cities and counties requiring mandatory vaccines in particular circumstances. For example, here in Los Angeles, for indoor wineries, bars, and breweries, the workers have to be vaccinated as well as customers. So outside of the local level, though, on the state level, we don't have a mandatory vaccination policy or requirement on behalf of the employers. So what should California employers be thinking about and planning for in regards to mandatory vaccines in the workplace? First, they should be thinking about if this mandate comes out on the federal level, how are they going to comply? What forms are they going to ask employees? When they're asking an employee about vaccination status, where is this information going to be kept? Who's going to have access to that information? And there's a lot of privacy and confidentiality issues there, so employers need to get on top of that now. Now, the sticky issue for employers, if there is a federal mandate on the vaccine, is dealing with the reasonable accommodation requests. So as of now, under California law or any existing laws, California employers may mandate their employees to get the vaccination, but they still have to provide reasonable accommodations for employees that have a medical reason not to get the vaccine, or two, if they have a sincerely held religious belief that prevents them from getting the vaccine. Now, the first issue on a medical reason preventing the employee from getting a vaccine, it's pretty clear cut. They can get a note from their doctor explaining that they're not eligible to get the vaccine, and that document goes in the employee's file, and the employer has to provide a reasonable accommodation. What's getting trickier now, though, that we're seeing play out across the state and across the U.S., are employees are relying on the sincerely held religious belief as a reason not to get the vaccine. It gets very complicated for employers in this regard, and employers should not wade into this issue without some clear legal advice and help from legal counsel on what they can ask the employee in terms of the sincerely held religious belief and what documents they can require from the employees to document the sincerely held religious belief. Very gray area on what constitutes a sincerely held religious belief and what information the employer can request on that front. Now, the final question I'm getting a lot, what about just these employees that are anti-vaxxers? Is that a good enough reason not to get the vaccine under a mandate? Generally speaking, it's not. Just because an employee has a political belief or just doesn't trust the vaccine at this point is not enough of a reason to object to getting the vaccine if mandated by the employer. So it only counts if the employee has a medical reason or a sincerely held religious belief that the employer has to start engaging the employee on a reasonable accommodation and what that reasonable accommodation may look like. So I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, or you can always subscribe to our blog at the CaliforniaEmploymentLawReport.com. Thanks.